Hello and welcome to another Company of Heroes 3 game. My name is Fancy Josh, and today we've got a game between Jesulin as our US and Stana as our German Warmachekt. Map today is going to be Toronto coastline. I really like this map. I think it leads to some really cool late game battles. All of your fuel is along the side closest to your base, very far away from your opponent, across a rather wide open area in the middle here. Ammo really focused on the top side, as well as 2 victory points, again rather far away from your base. And you kind of got this little narrow avenue down here where there's a little bit more fuel. So a lot of times you'll see players fight on this bottom side, maybe fight through the middle here, but it's very difficult to deny your opponent their fuel income, which means that both players are going to reach their higher tech units much more frequently, right? German player opening with 3 pioneers into a heavy machine gun, while our US player is doing the same, except he's using scouts into a heavy machine gun. Both players want that large amount of capture power right to start off the game. US player focusing this fuel on the bottom side while his opponent is picking up this victory point here. Both heavy machine guns are down on the bottom though. Units dodging each other around the smoke here. Heavy machine gun setting up. Did have that stealth, but the US player managed to get behind him there, and that I can't imagine this heavy machine gun is going to stick around for too much longer. Looks like he's just willing to delay. Running back to his base here. Then just delaying those scouts, right? If the scouts aren't capturing, this heavy machine gun's done its job. Second heavy machine gun for both players. That's hilarious. Both players mirroring each other a little bit here. Pioneers chasing these scouts around. Multiple squads coming to help. This player going for the infantry support center now, so we're going to see that captain out very shortly. And the scouts, of course, lose this fight pretty handily up close. Heavy machine gun back down here trying to cause some trouble, but getting outplayed by these scouts here. He's going to have to bounce. Second heavy machine gun coming to help, though. Fight's continuing on the top side. Pioneers fighting with those scouts in the house. Pioneers managing to take away his opponent's rich fuel point there. That'd be a nice pickup if he can get it. I guess technically it's only a medium fuel point, but you don't really see the high fuel points, so... And both players standing on this point so that neither can capture. Not actually sure who's going to win that fight. Okay, now I am. Heavy machine gun showing up is going to put an end to most fights. US player continuing to spam out these heavy machine guns. German player has added on a grenadier squad. So, with a build like this, I sort of expect our US player to go for half tracks. That is the natural follow-up to this type of build. Multiple heavy machine guns setting up on these pioneers here. And they are going to get pushed back. So I think the question is, does our US player want to go for advanced infantry or the heavy weapons? I think both are very viable with the heavy machine gun and half-track spam. See if that's what he wants to do or not. The machine guns shadowing these scouts and pioneers around the map. I think that's really cool. Covering each other a little bit there. Our German player, of course, we saw that he attacked into the Terror battle group earlier because he had those camouflage machine guns. And he has added on the interrogate allowing him to interrogate wounded soldiers for basically a ping on where his opponent is in the fog of war. I expect we'll be seeing him use that. But you don't see that, you know, I'd say about 50% of the time you see folks pick this up. A lot of times people like to rush down to King Tiger, but not in this case.
My grenadiers have taken the location.
And yep, there's our first vehicle coming out soon. Former Czech player did, of course, tech to the Luftwaffe company. So, giving him access to those light vehicles. I think Scout Car is really, really good on this map. It's such a wide map, such a long way to your opponent's resources that a Scout Car can be super helpful. That's a nice little cutoff by our German player, managing to pick up this fuel point here, and has in fact cut his opponent off from that rich fuel up top. That's actually a really big denial. This is pretty cool to see. I feel like a lot of players tend to fight over this bottom fuel or tend to just fight over the victory points, but our German is very focused on denying his opponent fuel, and that's really cool to see. US player is adding on a M8 Greyhound. That's awesome to see. Greyhound is kind of unpopular these days. I think players feel like it is too expensive to tech into. It's not necessarily an issue with the motor pool. It's not an issue with the vehicle itself, it's an issue with the motor pool. Is the sense I get. The motor fuel itself costs too much to invest into. Of course, so interestingly enough, our US player has gone for the armored battle group, which I was not expecting. So he picked up the veteran cruise and the fast deploy. So this Greyhound came out faster, and it came out as veterancy 1. It's a little unusual to see players take this battle group at this time in the game. A lot of folks like to open with jeeps if they're going to go for the armored battle group, but maybe he was waiting to see what his opponent wanted to do, or didn't feel like he needed the extra map presence with the jeeps. So US player did manage to repay the favor up top, taking away the fuel of his opponent. It's not going to last very long, but he did manage to do it. Make Greyhound getting up on this heavy machine gun, doing a lot of damage to that house. Pioneer squad taking away this munitions point on the right side. Heavy machine gun's gonna bail out. Scout car has been upgraded to the anti-vehicle package, and that needs to be, this Greyhound needs to be really careful. Both players trading shots there. Greyhound not wanting to chase, not knowing what's in the fog of war. I think that's a good choice, despite how low that scout car was. Jaeger squad, of course, has been added on and is nearly upgraded with the Panzerschreck there, so that scout car diving could have been the end of the scout car. Good decision making, even though it might feel like he could have gotten something done there. So our German did barbed wire off this whole bottom side, but the Greyhound came in and had something to say about that. Interesting to see, that's for sure. So our US player is adding on the half-track here. Of course, that thing is deploying really fast. And he is upgrading to the 75mm. So again, this thing starts at veterancy 1. Going to be reasonably effective against that scout car. But of course, our German has added on other AT options already. Scout car sitting at maximum range rate. Again, he needs to be very careful. As I say that, he dives on top, and I think he might pay for it. Not quite able to pick up that heavy machine gun. Anti-tank scout car hunting around a little bit. He's getting some shots there. 75mm looks like it wants to go respond to that. German again taking away this fuel point up top. I love how active he's being. constantly capturing back and forth. He says, you're going to focus on bottom while I'm going to take your fuel. Have a machine gun there to put a stop to it, though. Anti-tank scout car blasting that building, trying to drive away the heavy MG. Hands are correct. Jaeger squad getting suppressed there, going to have to bail out. And things looking favorable on the bottom side for our US player. Might pick up this Grenadier, though. That's really nice for him. That is the risk of going deep into your opponent's territory like that. You're going to get bad retreat paths, potentially. And that's sort of what we saw there. Like, you know, I said it earlier about the scout car, right? That its high mobility is really, really good on a map like this. Letting him go, you know, it's letting both players be mobile and active on the map, right? Nice barrage there, pushing away that heavy machine gun. Looks like these engineers will be able to decapture this point, which is something you don't see every day. Taking a quick look at the victory points here, it does seem to be favoring our US player ever so slightly. Both players have done a decent job of controlling the points there a little bit. AT gun setting up. Looks like he shot that hay bale there. Scout car getting aggressive. Greyhound scouting for the 75mm half-track. Doesn't quite have vision there. Nice pickup. Scout's able to see deep into opponent's territory there with that +10 vision range at level 2. He also has a flare going, so... Flak Panzer here is on the field. Horrible wind, of course, very strong against infantry. It's also going to stand up just fine to both the Greyhound and the 75mm. It's not to say he doesn't have to be careful, but it's got high enough health that it can withstand more than a couple shots. US player has already added on an AT gun, though, anticipating this Whirlwind. And getting some good damage there. Greyhound chasing down this Pioneer. Might try to pick him up there. Not quite. I'm going to have to bail out. Black Panzer rotating up to the top side where he knows the vehicles are not. And he especially knows that the AT gun is not up here. So he's able to, again, abuse his mobility. Half-track getting aggressive, getting hit side-on by the scout car there. Greyhound able to support, though. Both players just shooing each other away. Really nice use of their vehicles, right? Nobody overextending, nobody getting greedy. There have been multiple times where we've seen both players get very low health with their vehicles and being respected by their opponents, right? There could be mines, be AT guns, could be Jaegers. So, pretty cool to see. US player adding on his first rifleman. It's an interesting choice at this stage in the game. You know, and amazingly enough, our US players kept all his scouts alive. That is not an easy thing to do. 75mm getting blasted by those Shreks, though. Might attack through the ground, not going to happen. AT gun a bit out of position, but is managing to get a shot on this Flak Panzer. Second Flak Panzer on the way, though. German getting really, really aggressive here. May have overstayed his welcome a little bit. Greyhound bouncing off the front of that Flak Panzer. Probably not going to chase. Is going to chase. That's getting real risky because the scout car's here. And he is going to pick him up in the end there. Half-track going down to the scout car from the looks of it. AT gun turning around. Second Flak Panzer over here. Focusing this heavy machine gun in the house. And that was a crazy little fight. This player's adding on the Chaffee. Chaffee? Is he? Yeah, he is. Chaffee. What a fun tank name. Oh, and it's his second one. Oh, man. That's a dead Flak Panzer. Wow. That was pretty cool. That was very cool. It was just all of a sudden he had 2 on the field. And I wasn't ready for it, and I mean, he did get the discount from the War Machine, right? Able to pop those things out for less manpower. And just completely taking our German by surprise. These light tanks on the hunt for the scout car. Looks like they are going to find it. Scout car continuing to run. Greyhound coming in to help seal the deal here. And yeah, he's just running for his life there. He's going to find him getting cut off there. This is such a funny little fight. I have not seen... I mean, in a 1v1, I've never seen this strategy. So this is really funny to see. Just chasing him around with those light tanks. So I think the next question is, what does our German want to do about it? He does have a second Jaeger, with he's adding the Panzerschrecks on. Now, those light tanks are not super great against infantry, at least in my opinion. But of course, they're extremely mobile, and they're pretty decent against flak panzers because the flak panzers can't fight back. We are seeing our German add on another flak panzer, feeling like he needs anti-infantry. I would say that I feel like he needs both anti-infantry and anti-tank. But I guess he added anti-tank and then he added anti-infantry, so I can't complain too much. Might see him go for a martyr. He doesn't have enough fuel at this exact moment. But he does have the tech for it. They're relatively cheap. Almost picking up that Greyhound. Is Greyhound going to go down? Nice pickup by those Jaegers there. Looks like he lost track of his scout car. There for a minute, the Greyhound, that is. Black Panzer getting involved here. Gonna shred that heavy machine gun. The machine gun can't stay there for very long. He's gonna bail out. And immediately, Flak Panzers on top of this. Excuse me, immediately the Chafe on top of the Flak Panzer here, dealing huge damage. Panzerschreck's fighting back though. A couple misses by the light tanks is gonna let this Flak Panzer back off here. And nice pickup by the Jaegers there, getting him on the retreat there. That's pretty big for our German. Now I say it's big. I think that's exactly what he needed to stay in this game, right? Trading away, you know, getting a tank kill is big. Scout, interrogate, revealing all those units in the fog of war. The machine guns fighting each other across this no man's land here. Black Panzer up top, blasting some infantry. So it does kind of feel like our US player's saving up some fuel. Light tank pushing up top. This is nicely done by our German, right? These Jaegers have one job, and it's keep the Flak Panzer alive. And they're doing a fine job of that so far. Another half-track added on here by our US player. Perhaps wanting... Yeah, I'm curious what he wants to do with this half-track, right? I feel like... I mean, I guess he's going for the 75mm. And he's also adding on a mortar. I think indirect fire is a great choice here. He has what he needs in terms of anti-tank. He has what he needs in terms of anti-infantry. And now he needs some indirect fire to help him break through. Potentially, yeah, break through, right? Deal with these, push away the heavy machine guns. And maybe give some covering smoke in certain circumstances. German player adding on another Flak Panzer here. Fully committed to the medium tanks. I like to call this getting stuck on medium tanks. I think he's feeling kind of not in a great position, right? And yeah. 75mm barraging here. Looks like the mortar is probably getting involved as well. Another Flak Panzer arriving now. Going to deal with this heavy machine gun on the bottom side. That heavy cover doing wonders for him. Chaffee light tank responding, along with this AT gun. Of course, being followed by his Jaegers, ready for that light tank to come down and try something. German player pushing back in, maybe thinking the AT gun has left the area, but it definitely has not. Probably going to take another bullet for his troubles. And there he is, eating another shell. Now committing all the way forward. Oh, that's a dead tank, isn't it? Doesn't have vision. Barely through the trees, can't see him there. Smoke grenade going to cover the retreat of this tank. 75mm getting involved, and that's a dead tank there. Nice pickup by our German player, or by our US player. Get some work done there. Second flak panzer on the top side, though. Trying to lock down these points. Not having a ton of success just yet. Looks like we are going to see these pioneers finally remove this captain from his position. We're interrogating somewhere. Gonna make a noise. Or not. Looks like the interrogate might have got interrupted. Chaffee light tank chasing hard here. Jaegers are in the area, of course. Again, not leaving his flak panzer alone for even a minute. Nice shot on the back off here. Should get away. It's barely from the looks of it. AT gun not responding. 75mm sitting down bottom 2. And yeah. So far, let's see. Alright, so I think our US player did tech up. Yes, he did. He added on the tank depot. So we are going to see some medium tanks coming out. Might save up for the EZ8. German player is managing to capture his rich fuel point on the top side at this exact moment. Looks like the US player is going to have something to say about that. Indirect fire paying dividends for our US player right now. German basically can't touch this bottom side. The stealth on those heavy machine guns is absolutely amazing. That is such a long duration. Level 3 veteran C on those heavy machine guns for our German player. They have been putting in work. Only 9 kills, but I'm certain there is a ton of damage and suppression that's happened along the way. Got a bounce, though. These mortars are picking them apart. Yet another flak panzer for our German player. Fully committed to this medium tank trap, as I like to call it. Is adding on an AA gun. Not sure how I feel about that. Maybe it could be a misclick, or he could have something specific in mind that I'm not thinking of. Yeah, and he is adding on that flak gun. All flak panzers up top here, getting picked at by the 75mm and the Chaffee light tank. Panzerschreck's covering. Where's the other Panzerschreck? Here comes now, already veteran C3. German player managing to hold on to this fuel up top, which is pretty impressive. He is getting reasonably close to his King Tiger. And with this level of fuel income, we might see him get it sooner rather than later. Chaffee light tank getting some shots there, not connecting through the armor. Panzerschreck sitting in front, ready for the fight. Rifleman trying to pick off the Panzerschreck Jaeger squad there, but not able to get much done just yet. US player, I really like what our US player is doing, right? He's leaving behind team weapons on the bottom side, and team weapons in general don't require a ton of micro. Of course, you can micro them for better efficiency, and he may be doing that, especially with how high ranked he is. My point is, he's spending less APM on the bottom side while still managing to hold that point fairly effectively against continued attacks by his opponent. Meanwhile, on the top side, he can devote a lot of his attention, a lot of his units, a lot of his micro, right? And I think that's kind of cool. You see units all across the front line here. We're starting to see these scouts fall off pretty hard in terms of combat capabilities, right? And I think that's what the riflemen are for. He's going up to his third one now. German planting mines, I think. Yes, I do believe. Mortars getting crazy over here. Pioneers revealing some mines from the US player. Barrage coming in. The leaflet barrage? No, it couldn't be. Oh, it's the artillery barrage from the captain there. Yep. He's pinging away at his opponent, trying to force him back. Captain's got to go, though. Just kidding. I mean, the captain did leave, technically. Walking right through that artillery barrage is going to bail now. German player managed to secure this this victory point with his flak gun. That is incredibly impressive. Wondering if that's what he had in mind for it, right? This unit can't get suppressed. Of course, it is very susceptible to the mortar, and we're seeing that barrage happening now. If that really was his intention there, of using this flak to walk into the heavy machine gun, that is a very cool play.
Territory sector claimed by the enemy.
And wow, feels like the tables have definitely turned on our US player a little bit here. Of course, he's not doing poorly at all. They're very equal. In fact, our US player is still ahead on victory points. And I think our US player's adding on his Easy 8 now. My point is, I think the German's done a wonderful job recovering in this game. In fact, he's added on another Jaeger squad. We're probably going to see the Panzer Trek upgrade on this squad to be able to deal with these tanks he's going to be facing. Here comes the Easy 8. Getting involved, AT gun pushing away. Black Panzers, big push by both players. Mortar using fragmentation bombs on that heavy machine gun on the side there. Flak Panzer pushing the mortar away. Easy 8 gonna have to back off these Panzer Shreks. Chaffee light tank taking the brunt of that firing arc there. AT gun sitting in the back waiting for these Ostwinds. Man, what a big push from both players there. While that was happening, the US player has managed to secure some of this top side. Black Panzer moving up to respond. I'd love to see the Easy 8 move up there. Just now seeing his opponent in the area, so getting some really good hits on these Jaeger. Double smoke grenade blocking off all the vision. Black Panzer doing its best here. This player does really look like he wants to go top. Love to see this unit support. I think he might do that now. Maybe going for this middle area. Does his mortar back? Mortar's coming now. Riflemen getting blasted here. Meat shielding for him. Combined arms, of course. Easy 8's doing huge damage, killing those pioneers on the retreat. AA gun continuing to wreck these riflemen there, and heavy machine gun getting suppression there. Flak Panzer moving in. German player does have plenty of answers to this Easy 8, but the Easy 8's been left alone for quite a while. The Jaegers getting suppressed by the heavy machine gun. Easy 8 going to focus on this AA gun. I think that's really good. And add it to his opponent. AT gun ready for that Flak Panzer to move in. Moving a little closer there. And beautiful little counter push here from our US player. Navigated that fight pretty flawlessly. Jaeger's going to close here. Might get some more shots. Is that a dead Easy 8? Oh, missing with that one Panzer Shrek there. Pretty devastating for our German. And after all that, I think our German player is going to control all 3 victory points, at least for a short period here. And as I say that, the riflemen do win that fight in the middle. Heavy machine gun trying to stop that from happening. Both whirlwinds being active up top, responding to any infantry threats, and the King Tiger is on the field. Man, I love how this tank looks in red. It looks so good in red. Beautiful. Mortar barraging away, oddly enough. Riflemen are going to get a first glimpse of this Tiger. So the times have changed for our US player. He is adding on another Easy 8. I think Easy 8s are pretty darn good against King Tigers, all things considered. Black Panzer's going to stop those riflemen in their tracks there. Jaegers ought to go pick that up. AT guns bouncing right off the front of this Tiger there. Tiger supported by the Jaeger, of course. So this tank swarm is not going to work. Look how much damage he just did to that Chaffee. Going down quick to the Panzer Shreks. Another Chaffee here getting behind. Getting some good rear armor hits. Easy 8 bouncing off the front there. It's going to be a dead Chaffee tank. But this King Tiger is getting pretty low. We got some Jaegers having to retreat here, and that's going to be a dead Tiger, isn't it? Oh man, bouncing off the side armor there. Getting behind here should pick him up. Nice pick up there. I do believe the Easy 8's going to go down as well. Trying to sneak out of there, but not going to happen. Nicely done by both players. Ultimately, I do think that was better for our German. As much as that might sound crazy losing a King Tiger, he still has 2 Black Panzers on the field, and our US player doesn't have super good answers to them. Other than his AT gun, of course, which, as you know, I'm a huge fan of. That Vet 3 AT gun firing so quickly. Now, the good news for our US player, though, is that he's dealing with 3 Jaeger squads from his opponent, and those Jaegers are not super effective against infantry. Not as effective as some of his other options. I mean, that is what the Flak Panzers are for, so I guess my point is, if he can get some infantry on infantry fights, our US player is going to be doing okay. This area has become a no man's land as the mortars continue to barrage. Whose calling is that? That is a propaganda blast by the German player. Going to force all those units to retreat. Going to manage to pick up that heavy machine gun. I'm sure he's happy about that.
The victory point is under attack. We must act.
Another Chaffee light tank on the field for a US player. Feeling like he can hunt these Black Panzers, and he's definitely correct. His opponent does not have Jaegers in the area, but look how many of the mines there are here. There's no way Chaffee can catch both. Gonna hit that first mine, may even hit the second mine. In a reverse direction there. Have machine guns moving up though. Pressing these units. And nice pickup by these Jaegers here. Getting rid of that Chaffee tank. And man, things are looking really, really good for our German right now. Has massive advantage in map control. Yeah, and there's the surrender. That was such a cool little game. Both players stayed on light vehicles and medium vehicles for a long time. Then we eventually saw both players build up their tanks to a reasonable level, and I thought that was a really fun fight right there at the end. Well played by our German player, staying after it, right? He never gave up. He said, you know what I need to do to win this game is add on 17 more Flak Panzers, and he made it work. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game as much as I did, and I will see you in the next one.